Good evening and welcome to the Chesapeake Public Schools Family Empowerment Webinar. My name is Laura Lerf and I'm one of the Family and Community Engagement Specialists. Our office, which is part of the Department of Engagement, aims to build meaningful partnerships that inspire, engage, and empower families, educators, and community organizations to support the initiatives of Chesapeake Public Schools. We are typically available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can reach us at our main phone line, 757-482-5923, or via email at face, F-A-C-E, at cpschools.com. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we look forward to working together to strengthen our community and support our students. Our goal is to continue providing families with valuable webinars, events, and information to empower them in the educational setting. We're excited to offer our families the Peak Parent University course catalog, which provides an overview of all of our events for the school year. Here, you can also catch up on pre-recorded webinars, explore a wide range of educational resources, and make valuable community connections to enhance your family's well-being. Please take a moment to scan the QR code, which will give you access to our Peak Parent University catalog. This catalog will provide you with monthly updates, including descriptions, times, and locations of upcoming events. We hope you will join us for our next events, which are listed on the screen. You can also go to cpschools.com and in the search menu, type Peak Parent University. Thank you for joining us this evening for the Explore Opportunities with Chesapeake Virtual Academy webinar. We're excited to welcome our panelists from the Chesapeake Virtual Academy. Before we get started, please note that this webinar is being recorded and will be shared on the Chesapeake Public Schools YouTube channel. For privacy and security, participant cameras and the chat feature have been disabled. If you have any questions during the session, please use the Q&A feature located at the bottom of your screen. We will address all questions by the end of tonight's presentation. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our panelists. First, we have Stephen Chamberlain, Program Administrator for Virtual Instruction, Kelly Jordan, Supervisor of Chesapeake Virtual Academy, and Teosha Macklin, School Counseling Director for Chesapeake Virtual Academy. Welcome everyone, and thank you for being here tonight. At this time, I would like to turn the program over to Stephen Chamberlain.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all of you joining us this evening for our annual family webinar on Chesapeake Virtual Academy. As Ms. Lerf indicated, there are going to be two of us presenting tonight. Myself, Stephen Chamberlain, Dr. Kelly Jordan, who is the supervisor of CVA, and there is a third very important member of our team, that is Dr. Erin Jury. She serves as our special education administrator, but unfortunately, she was not able to join us this evening. We are also joined by our school counseling director, Ms. Teosha Macklin. She will be handling the Q&A this evening. And as we go through the presentation, we do encourage you to use the Q&A feature to ask all of your questions. You may find that your question is not answered very quickly, and that is because Ms. Macklin is familiar with our presentation, and if she knows that the answer is going to be provided later on in the presentation, she may skip over it. So we'd like to start with a short background discussion on the purpose of Chesapeake Virtual Academy. Prior to COVID, online learning was alive and well in Chesapeake. And at the time, we had plans to develop a fully online academy. Of course, COVID threw everyone into a virtual environment and really helped accelerate our plans to implement a fully online K-12 program. What we are doing today in Chesapeake Virtual Academy is not the same experience that students had during the COVID era. At the heart of our mission statement is the idea of student choice and voice, and an acknowledgement that a traditional school setting may not be the best fit for every student. Students choose to enroll in Chesapeake Virtual Academy for a wide variety of reasons, including access to courses that may not be available at their home school, mental and physical health issues, or to take advantage of the flexibility that comes with online learning. For some students, this means they have opportunities to engage in work-based learning opportunities, take specialized coursework at the Governor's School or Tidewater Community College, or work in an environment that simply better suits their needs. Many students with disabilities find that online learning provides them with greater control over the pace of their learning, which allows them to achieve academic successes beyond what they may have been able to achieve in a brick and mortar setting. Chesapeake Virtual Academy is open to all students enrolled in Chesapeake Public Schools. It is free of charge, and students maintain a connection to their home school, where we encourage students to continue to participate in all sports, clubs, and activities. Students that apply to Chesapeake Virtual Academy are often making a full-year commitment to the program if they choose to be a full-time online student. And we also like to remind everyone that just because you are in Chesapeake Virtual Academy this school year, you must reapply for the 25-26 school year. Our instructional offerings include both synchronous or live instruction, as well as asynchronous instruction, which is an opportunity for students to engage in learning at their own pace and at a place of their choosing. We also provide services for English language learners, gifted students, and students receiving special education services. All of our courses are taught by Chesapeake Public Schools teachers, and students learn from the same Chesapeake Public Schools curriculum and follow the same Chesapeake Public Schools pacing that students do in our brick and mortar settings. At this time, I would like to turn the presentation over to Dr. Kelly Jordan that will review the specifics of instruction at the elementary, middle, and high school level.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Chamberlain. So the first level that we're going to talk about is CVA Elementary. This is going to be open to rising kindergartner through fifth grade students who are currently Chesapeake Public School students or planning to enroll in Chesapeake Public Schools. This program runs 5 days a week, and it hosts both synchronous, that live direct instruction, and asynchronous instruction, where, as Mr. Chamberlain was saying, the student works independently at their own pace. We take attendance every single day, and the schedule does align with the CPS required instructional minutes. For example, we require that the math minutes be 60 minutes in the person, and therefore we're going to require the same thing when it comes to CVA Elementary. We provide whole group and small group instruction for reading and math, which is the same thing that happens in in-person learning. We also ensure that we include science, social studies, art, music, health, and PE, and an opportunity for our students to visit with their school counselor. There is opportunities for remediation and enrichment during what we call our power up time. And there's also opportunities, which is unique to CVA, for individual support sessions as needed, where students are able to schedule one-on-one support with their teachers each day. This is just a sample schedule. Obviously, the schedule is going to change depending on the grade level, because not everyone teaches reading at the same time and not everyone has resource at the same time. But you'll just see an example of where we break up the synchronous and the asynchronous instruction. So you see morning meeting is always going to be the same time, 7:45, and that will be across the board K-5, where our students come together for that morning meeting and SEL opportunity. They do morning announcements and all kinds of things there. And then we move into the chunks of different instructional time, where you'll see that there's that reading or ELA block. There's also a math block. Our entire program takes lunch from 11 to 11:30, and then all students are given recess from 11:30 to 12. And that's to provide some consistency for our families as well, because we have a lot of siblings, and we know that mom or dad or whoever's watching the student doesn't want to have to make two different lunches at two different times. Social studies and science has a synchronous and asynchronous component, and all of our students do participate in resource just like they would in person, followed up by that power up and that daily closure. CVA Middle is going to be a slightly different daily schedule compared to CVA Elementary. Still, students are going to be participating 5 days a week, just like they would be in person. And there is both synchronous and asynchronous instruction here. We do take attendance daily as required by the state, and we offer both core and advanced courses. We have remediation and enrichment opportunities through Core Plus, which is typical in all middle schools in Chesapeake Public School. And we also here have a unique thing where we offer the opportunities for individual support sessions where students schedule those with their teachers for one-on-one opportunity. We do have electives for our students at CVA Middle, and those elective choices are offered both through CVA and there's a couple choices through Virtual Virginia. Students will all take their core classes: math, science, social studies, and English. They will also take health and PE and have Core Plus. The option to take electives is present for our CVA middle school students. They can elect to take one full year elective, one single semester elective, or even two single semester electives, or no electives at all. That's a choice that each family gets to make. But our electives include art, independent music techniques, computer science, intro to leadership, and community service. But please note that these are based on enrollment, so we would have to have enough students enrolled for those courses to make. In Virtual Virginia, they can take exploratory world languages, your traditional level 1 languages that we offer in person for 8th grade students, and career and technical education classes. The CVA model itself runs kind of like almost on an A-day, B-day schedule with the exception of Wednesday. And so Mondays and Thursdays, students will enter with Bell 1, which is that Core Plus bell, and then they go to Bells 2, 4, and 6 with staggered asynchronous time built in. And that asynchronous time here is shown by where it says student support sessions. This is time for the student to work independently if they want to, but also had time to schedule those one-on-ones that we were talking about. On Tuesdays and Fridays, they still meet in Bell 1 because Bell 1 is going to be every day for us where we take attendance, but then they have the opportunity to go to 3, 5, and 7. And again, those built-in opportunities for the student support sessions are needed. Otherwise, it's asynchronous time. Wednesday is a little bit different. Wednesday, students go to Bell 1. That's where we have an extended Core Plus time where we can pull students for targeted remediation and enrichment opportunities based on previous week's data. And then the students would attend all of their core classes that day in a shortened version of the bell. CVA High. So I like to say when I'm talking to parents that we are attempting to teach the student to become a more independent asynchronous learner. So you will see, as you saw, a little bit more asynchronous time built into the middle school schedule than elementary. And then when they get to high school, it really is an asynchronous program. Here we have opportunities for students in grades 9 through 12 to enter in and take one class if they want to, or take all 8 if they want to. They can choose between being full-time and part-time CVA. And that asynchronous model is where everything is front loaded for the student. All of the assignments are going to be available on Monday morning by 9 a.m., and they have the week to get it done. The only difference is that we still do offer live direct instruction every day for each course. If a student needs that support and that help and that direct instruction, we certainly don't want them to feel like they're alone in the course. And so that is available for all of our students, whether full-time or part-time. Students can work at their own pace, like I said, though, and they really do need to be an independent, self-directed learner because a large portion will need to be done asynchronously. Teachers, like I said, are available for live direct instruction to pull students in small groups, and they also have student support sessions for that one-on-one time as needed. Attendance is a little bit different here. We take attendance through a daily check-in through a Google form. So, what does it look like if you're a part-time student? A part-time student is going to be a student who goes into the building and reports into the building in some capacity, whether they go for just Bell 1 and then Bells 2, 3, and 4, their CVA, or they go in for Bell 4, or whatever that schedule is that they worked out with their zoned homeschool. But then the other classes are taken online. So they report daily to their homeschool, and that's where their attendance is going to be taken. We have lots of students who go to CCC for 2 bells, and then their CVA for 2 bells. And so again, that's where that part-time status comes in. They may complete CVA courses in what we call our virtual learning centers, which means they don't have to leave at all. So if you have a freshman who doesn't drive or doesn't have transportation during the middle of the day, that doesn't mean they can't be a part-time CVA student. And we encourage students in these situations to go to what's called the Virtual Learning Center, and those are available at all 7 high schools, where a student can go to that lab and they can join their CVA class and do their CVA work while being monitored by an employee. A full-time student is going to make a full year commitment to the program. They're not going to campus for anything. They're going to take all of their classes online. And because they're not reporting to the campus, their attendance can't be taken that way. So instead, they complete a daily attendance check. Regardless of whether you're a part-time student or a full-time student, you remain what we call concurrently enrolled in your zoned homeschool. And what that means is you can be a full-time CVA student and still try out for the football team. You can be a full-time CVA student and still go to prom or ring dance or all of those different things. They are never going to be excluded from any school-sponsored sports, clubs, or activities. So all of our course offerings are going to be posted on our CVA website. We are almost extremely comparable to what is offered in person. There are a few classes we don't have the ability to offer. For example, we don't offer culinary because we don't have students cook at home. However, we do offer a wide variety of options for all students and all different types of learners. Like I said previously, they can take one class or they can take all 8, making them a full-time student. But please note that this is subject to enrollment. If enough students haven't expressed interest and applied for that course, and we do not have enough, then we would not have the course make. But if it doesn't make, your school counselor will notify you. Students can also take courses through Virtual Virginia if the course isn't offered. For example, if a student wanted to take American Sign Language, we do not offer that in Chesapeake Public Schools, but that is an option that they could explore through Virtual Virginia. I'm really proud to say that we can meet the needs of exceptional learners. A lot of people are like, what does that look like online? And it's beautiful. That's exactly what it looks like. Special education services, including speech and language, are available for all of our full-time CVA students. And we do, in some cases, service our part-time students. We also offer gifted education services for any student who's been identified and qualifies in grades 3 through 8. And we're able to serve English learners, and they receive those services through their zoned homeschool. So in terms of our exceptional learners, in elementary, we have a couple different models we use. We use the push-in model, where they're going into an inclusion class in that general education setting, as well as pull out, where we pull the students into that special education classroom and service them and work on their goals and things of that sort. Our self-contained program is also available for our students who cannot meet their needs in the general education setting. So that is always an option, and no one is excluded in terms of self-contained versus inclusion. And related services are offered both virtually and in person. That's determined by the IEP team. In middle school, we have exclusive services with daily support every single day. So they would be meeting with their case manager every day to have that targeted support as needed. We also here have the ability to offer self-contained for our ID classroom for those students who follow more of an adaptive curriculum. And then related services, again, are offered both virtually and in person. CVA High School does offer direct support for our special education students in a live synchronous setting. So if your student is in academic support, that wouldn't be asynchronous. That would actually be live every single day. Here we also have self-contained ID and CrossCat program for students. And that is the sweetest classroom, and our students are really thriving in that program. It makes me super happy. And again, too, we provide services virtually and in person as applicable. Another thing close to my heart, and I really love this one, is our student experiences. A lot of people are concerned that they're going to be disconnected. They're not going to know anybody. How are they going to make friends? All of those types of things. But remember, they do maintain the connection to their homeschool. So in my middle school, I've got kids who play basketball and cheer and do football and all different types of things, as I do in the high school as well. They're still maintaining that connection. I had a high school student who was full-time for his last 3 years, and he played varsity baseball his last 3 years too in his home school. Virtual learning centers are also at each of the high schools, so they have that opportunity for traditional student interaction. We offer in-person centralized testing for all of our K-8 students, as applicable depending on their grade level. So they do come together. Counseling and mentoring, but then we go a step further and make sure we're still providing those authentic, unique opportunities. We have morning meeting every day in all of our K-8 classes, lunch bunches on Fridays, small group, one-on-one support sessions, enrichment. We do field trips, you can see in the picture below. We really do want to ensure that we provide students with the opportunity to come together as often as possible. Another thing that we do that is really awesome is we also host CVA Family Fun Nights. These are offered quarterly throughout the year, and we offer them at various areas in the district to ensure that we're meeting the needs of our Western Range people and our Southern Chesapeake people and our Greenbrier people. But we bring our K-8 families together. Oftentimes we have siblings in both levels, and we provide them with an opportunity to do, as you can see in the picture, all kinds of things. We have an area that's more quiet for our learners that just want to color or play cards or something with their teacher. We have STEM activities. We have a ton of gym activities. In September, we always have the opportunity for students to take their school picture because they're with us during the day, so they're not going to their home school to do that. We offer a music presentation for our elementary students. We did last year at the end of the school year a students versus faculty kickball game. So we want to make sure that we're always offering the opportunity for them to come together in a non-academic setting that still offers some academic opportunities, but more importantly, it offers them the opportunity to interact with each other. So what would be your responsibility as a parent? Well, provide them with a safe, secure, and structured learning environment for students. Ensure that they're going to complete the daily check-in or log in every single day for attendance in terms of those synchronous sessions, and complete their asynchronous work. And also ensure that they have access to their distributed CPS Chromebook, as well as you would provide internet access. So some of the frequently asked questions that you may have already asked in the Q&A. Will students have to report to campus? Yes, depending on the situation. Any standardized tests we can't do virtually. The state doesn't allow us to do that. And so we do have to have students come into a Chesapeake Public Schools location for any standardized assessment, whether that be something that's mandated by Chesapeake Public Schools, by College Board, or the Virginia Department of Education. Please note, we do provide transportation as needed for parents who can't get their student there and or do not want to provide that transportation. We can totally take care of that for you. Are synchronous sessions recorded? No, they're not. CVA elementary and CVA middle school students are required to attend synchronously, so they're not recorded. We have to respect the privacy of everyone's home who was logged in on that screen. And so students who are absent could quickly catch up with a one-on-one support session with their teacher to review any content that they missed. Our students provide with Chromebooks and textbooks. Yes and yes. All CVA students are provided with a CPS Chromebook that comes from their zoned homeschool, and any necessary textbooks or ancillary resource materials. Like, for example, we make sure that all of our K-3 students have the handwriting book that they practice handwriting in. If there is a lab coloring book, we provide that as well. How much time do I spend working online? Well, if you were in person, you're going to work 7 hours a day. Okay, you're going to be in classes for 7 hours a day. And we have the same expectation for our students. They should plan to spend just as much time online, whether that be synchronous or asynchronous, as they would be doing in person. And so with that, I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Chamberlain to close us out with the last bit of information.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Jordan. So now that you've learned a little bit about what the instructional program in Chesapeake Virtual Academy looks like, we want to close with making sure that you have all the information needed to submit an application for the 25-26 school year. Our applications are posted on our website. It's very easy to get to. It is simply cpschools.com/CVA. And students in grades K through 12 need to submit an application. There is, however, a little bit of a difference in the way elementary and middle school applications are processed versus high school applications. Elementary and middle school students have to meet two pieces of criteria in order to be admitted into Chesapeake Virtual Academy. First, they have to meet an academic benchmark of passing grades in all of their core classes in quarter 1 and 2 of the current school year. They also have to demonstrate consistent and timely attendance by having 9 or fewer absences at the end of semester 1 in the current school year. All applications for next year are due by March 10th, and we typically send out acceptance letters via US mail in mid to late May. At that point, parents and students have one last opportunity to decide if they want to commit or not commit to CVA for next year. And the last day to withdraw from our program for next year is June 17th, 2025. At the high school level, we essentially have an open enrollment policy. Sometime in the month of January or February, students at all high schools will be asked to enter their course requests for next school year. If a student is interested in taking a CVA class or multiple CVA classes, they should do two things. One, enter their course request in Student View based on the timeline that is provided to them by the counselor at their home school. Second, they should complete the CVA application no later than March 10th, 2025. Counselors will ensure that student course requests are changed to show that the student would like CVA courses when they receive the application from the student. Parents will have an opportunity to verify CVA course requests in Parent View in the week following March 10th. For students that receive special education services, it may be necessary for the IEP team to meet to determine whether or not that student's needs can be met in Chesapeake Virtual Academy. Not all students receiving special education services have to have an IEP team meeting prior to joining CVA, but in some cases, it might be part of the application process. We're also open to students that may be new to Chesapeake Public Schools. If you are not currently enrolled in Chesapeake Public Schools, maybe you attend a private school or homeschooled, or maybe you're a rising kindergartner, there is a special application on our website. It's called the Out of District application. Please fill out that application prior to March 10th, and then starting in April, you can complete the enrollment process into Chesapeake Public Schools. Once you've enrolled your student in Chesapeake Public Schools, please reach out to us to let us know so that we can move forward with the CVA application. Finally, I've already mentioned our website as an important source of information, but there are several other places that you can reach out. Homeschool counselors have information about Chesapeake Virtual Academy. You can contact us directly by the phone number listed on the screen or at the email listed on the screen. And you can also follow us on all the social media sites, from Facebook to Instagram to X. That concludes our portion of the webinar tonight, and I'm going to turn it back over to the Family and Community Engagement team.
All right. Thank you so much to our panelists for their wealth of information. Should you have any questions about tonight's webinar, please feel free to reach out to the email or phone number that was listed on the screen for CVA, or you can also reach out to FACE, F-A-C-E, at cpschools.com. If you want to know more about other events hosted by our district, please scan the QR codes that are located on the screen. And don't forget to download our app so that you get all of the updated notifications about your child's school and the district. This concludes our Explore Opportunities with Chesapeake Virtual Academy webinar. Again, I'd like to thank our panelists for sharing information with us this evening. Please remember that this webinar has been recorded and will be uploaded to the Chesapeake Public Schools YouTube channel within the next several days. Thank you for joining us this evening, and remember that families and communities work better together. Have a good evening.